Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. And with me today, I've got Mike Todasco. And we're going to be talking about AI wearables. Not something that I know. I don't know anything about AI wearables, and I'm hoping at the end of this, I am. So, Mike, where can people find you?
Yeah. LinkedIn is the best place, Tim. So just LinkedIn, just search for Tedasco. That's me.
So, when we met and we did the preparation call, I must admit I found it fascinating, and I booked 30 minutes for it, but I could have talked to you for ages because there was so give us a little bit of background in terms of because you've done some really interesting jobs. You were at R&D at PayPal, and so just give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, I mean, good look, going all the way back. I actually started my career as like finance and accounting, all
Okay.
that whole sexy world
Yeah.
is how I started off. And look, I did that, but I always was really interested in technology. I was the guy in the neighborhood. This is not a joke. In 2004, that actually had a robotic lawnmower that would mow my lawn. This was
Wow,
20, 21 years ago.
that would have
So
been
it was pretty primitive, needless to say. It was probably pretty dangerous as
yep.
well. But yeah, I was always the guy who tinkered on that stuff, even though like my background isn't formally as an engineer. I think I've just always thought that way. I started my own business at one point, online e-commerce site. I had no idea what I was doing, failed miserably, but that led me to PayPal. Frankly, like my interview at PayPal was, hey, I used to do finance and accounting, but I started a company, and these are all the ways I screwed up. And that was my interview there, and that got me in the world of technology. And at PayPal, it was very fun because the first product I got to work on was a competitor to the Square Reader. So if folks are familiar with like Square, iZettle, these little readers that go into your phone to make payments. That was a really novel thing in 2011 when I started. And
Right.
frankly, PayPal missed the boat on that. So I got to enter the world of hardware at PayPal because it was the first hardware product that PayPal as a company ever made. And so there was another hardware product we could talk about called Beacon after that. But then when PayPal split with eBay in 2015, 2016, I had a kind of a unique opportunity to take on the role of innovation for the company. And at that time, I sort of got all the leftovers, which meant I got to play with augmented reality glasses and all this other kind of stuff and all these fun things that we got to do in our lab to just kind of see and explore. And a lot of them were, related to hardware or hardware adjacent. And now we're at a point where the AI has finally caught up to the hardware, and we're entering a world where we're going to start seeing, I hope we're entering a world where we're going to start seeing completely different form factors. Because I will say, and I say this all the time, Tim, this phone here that I'm holding up, if you would have said like 20 years ago that this is the ultimate form factor, that a device that people are just this glass slab, I've been like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, why is this the right form factor for that? Why is it we should be communicating in that world? And so hopefully we're going to evolve past that.
Yeah, I have a mate who, in the days of Nokia phones,
Mm-hmm.
he was a friend of his. Basically, said there's this new BlackBerry thing,
Yeah.
and you're going to better do your email on the go. And he said,
Yeah.
why would I want to do my email on the go? I can use my desktop to do that. So he didn't invest.
And not investing in research in motion in 98 or
Yeah.
whatever.
It would have been
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would have been a handsome payday to do
Yeah.
that. Assuming they sold before the company went. Actually, I think Research in Motion BlackBerry is still around, but yes, handsome payday. Needless to say, yeah. Look, I think here's the. It's hard. We don't know. Let me tell a story. Actually, so go back 1997. I'm in undergraduate at university taking a psychology class. Teacher's assistant in his 20s says to the students, hey, I'm getting married. And we're all like, that's wonderful. Good for you. Somebody asks, how is it that you met your wife? And he says, I met her online. What's the reaction from the class? It was laughter, just like pure laughter. Like meeting somebody that you're marrying on the internet is the most ridiculous, most pathetic thing we could have possibly imagined in 1997. And like, look, this wasn't even a question. It was just like, nobody does that. Fast forward today, what is it? A third,
30% of people, 30%, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, everybody does it. Nobody thinks twice. Nobody laughs when you say that anymore. The world changes. The world evolves. But like, even, we were a bunch of fairly tech savvy kids in that class. Even for us, it would have been like, well, no one does that. Like, why would you do that? So like thinking of, why would I need a phone to do this? Why would I need this? It's with certain technologies, especially in the world of, computers and other tech and so forth, like you almost have to rely on the visionaries, the Steve Jobs, the Jensen Huangs and all that to paint the vision, because the customers don't always know what they truly want, because they don't know what will be possible.
And that's an important point.
Yeah. What they will want in the future.
So fast forward to today.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we met last, you were talking about, so you're using a ring, aren't you, on your?
Oh yeah. I got an Aura ring. I do have that. Yes, I wear that all the time. I love it. I wear it to sleep. It's like a 7-day battery or something crazy like that. The only time I take it off is actually right there, if you could see, when I'm in the sauna. That's the one thing, because I don't want to fry the electronics in there. But other than that, I like literally never take it off my hand, and it's great. And even we use it with my even younger daughter, who's 11. She has her own Aura ring. We use it for sleep and fitness and all this other kind of stuff for her. It's great.
And so where does so I mean, we've now been able to get the electronics down to that level and the battery to, so where how are we going to use that, and how is AI going to impact that?
Yeah. So look, there's a lot of different form factors. So very famously recently, OpenAI said that they're acquiring Johnny Ive's company. So for folks who don't know, Johnny Ive is the, really brilliant architect of, I think he was a designer on the
iPod.
iPod. And I was thinking before that, what was the Mac with the different colors? I think
yes.
What the hell's the name of that thing? I can't remember.
I remember, yeah.
Not the iMac. I can't remember what the but like, I mean, all of this, the iPod and so forth. But like Johnny Ive was like, the design guru behind that. Had it, and effectively he got acqui-hired by OpenAI for $6 billion. And what is it? And all that they have said, they are building some AI device, and we don't know what that is. It could be a lot of things, because look, the electronics and the components are getting cheaper. They are getting smaller. You could have a ring. You could have some kind of bracelet. This is my daughter's bracelet. Actually, my daughter made this for me, but like same kind of form factor.
The thing about this is that it's actually it's now holding us back in terms of our innovation, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we call it a phone, but nobody calls each other. Nobody rings each other.
No, exactly. It's a legacy.
Yeah. Right. It's now a legacy item. And I don't know about you, but what I'm waiting for is the next leap forward.
Yeah.
And kind of what Sam Altman is saying is that his purchase of that company is about that next leap forward, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, and to kind of finish that off, and we can even go other crazy routes, but the most obvious ones: ring, band, something that's sitting in your ear. Like, don't tell me that Apple is not. And they are. I think it's pretty clear they're looking to put cameras on these things. They're looking to put more intelligence inside, things that are going to be sitting inside your ear. Or the one that's exciting me the most is in the glasses.
Yeah.
This is something that's been fascinating for quite some time. Meta, I've had the Meta Ray-Bans for probably about 18 months or so now.
Okay.
And it's phenomenal. And for folks who don't have it, who haven't used it or anything, it basically looks and feels like a regular set of glasses. You wear them on your head. It offers a couple different kind of bonuses. It has speakers in it, and it's Bluetooth connected, so you can be listening to music, talking to an AI agent. You could do any of these kind of things while you're actually wearing these devices, and I do that all the time. But it can also take pictures. It can actually, because there's little cameras kind of just on the side of it, and you can even then have the AI see out, and it could see the world around you and then talk to you through that and what's happening.
Because I went to the launch of Google Glass here in London, and they were very rudimentary.
Yes. Yeah, Google Glass. Yeah, it actually. So one of the things Meta does not do yet is it actually has no screen in it, so you don't see. It's all done through your ears. Google Glass.
Oh, okay.
12 years ago, actually tried to do that. Now I think Meta will introduce screens. Intel actually had a really interesting company that they acquired, and then they shut down the project entirely. I can't remember what it was. This was late 2010s, where they did have a fairly rudimentary screen in a set of glasses that they were using. But it was also like monochrome. It was like red or something like that. You're not getting vivid 4K or anything like that eventually, but like these things are going to be baby steps to get there.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. If you go back and look at like the specs of an iPhone 1 versus an iPhone 16 or whatever it is we're at today, quite a difference.
Well, it's a difference between playing Snake on a Nokia, isn't it? And
yes, exactly. Exactly. By the way, Tim, and this is a sidebar here. You just mentioned the Snake. I actually just bought a Nokia. So actually one day a week I said I'm going to go dumb phone and I'm just going to have my calls forwarded to my dumb phone. And so I literally just bought a Nokia. Yes, they still sell them and all that. And little did I know I'm trying to go dumb. So just texts and calls. I want nothing else for one day a week. Snake is still on there. So Snake, they haven't escaped. And I can't delete it either. I'm like, okay, I just really need to not play Snake, but Snake is still there.
I mean, that's interesting that you're actually going to a dumb phone, and we're having a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And so, where do you see this going?
Look, I think so, and this is one of the reasons why I'm going to dumb phone too, because I want to have more control over myself, even of my thoughts, and I don't want the agents, frankly, constantly bombarding me with messages or whatever it might be. Like there's a if anybody has seen the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, there's a very famous scene where Tom Cruise is kind of walking through the mall, and this is all of a iris tracking back in the day, or that's the future that they were painting. It's like tracking his irises. So he's walking through a shopping mall, and there's advertisements on the side that are customized to him, and so he's hearing this again and again. He's getting bombarded with this over and over again, and in 2002 when that movie came out, like, oh God, that's awful. That ain't too far from the world we're in today. I mean, again, it's a different form factor. You're just getting bombarded in a different way from that, but like that is it. And I want to just make sure I have the kind of the power and the wherewithal to turn this off whenever I want to turn this off. Hence, having a dumb phone option at all times. But where do I think this is going? Look, and I've been saying this for 10 years, so my timing is totally off on that. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, are we using smartphones that look like this in 2025? I probably would have said no. So like, I couldn't have been more wrong with that prediction. We still are today. At some point in the future, though, we are going to have better devices. I mean, there are things. There's so many interesting things out there. There are actually things like I remember there's a wrist thing. I'm kind of holding up my wrist here with a fake band, and I have it. Where actually just based on like finger movements, it's measuring like what is happening in your wrist. Because I don't know if you could actually see that there, but like when you move your fingers, you will actually see like movements in your wrist as associated with that. It's measuring those pulses. And at one point I was able to work a PC that way. I forgot the name of the product of that, but it was about 10 years ago this thing came out. I know Facebook is working on similar products to that. Like there are different form factors. There are many different form factors that are going to come out. I think what you are going to see in the next 3 to 4 years is that it's going to be throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're just going to like basically just kind of throw it out there. There's going to be a whole bunch of different experiments. Apple has a huge Vision Pro that didn't work. Like as much, crap they got from that, I give the company credit for trying something new and just putting it out
absolutely.
there. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to fail with these products, and companies are going to fail.
But I mean, if you think about the music, we had the Walkman, and then the Discman, and then Laserdisc and VHS and Betamax. And I kind of think that we're going to go through that, where you're going to end up buying tech and then it's going to go in a drawer because in 2 years later, no one's going to use it,
Exactly. My drawer is going to become a cabinet.
Yeah.
Is exactly what you're saying, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. The type of look, if I were really to place a long-term bet of 2050, what does this look like? I would probably say it's like a pair of glasses or something like that. It's something that is, because the other thing is we have to do something that's socially acceptable. I remember being at PayPal the time Google Glass came out, and there was one person on campus that wore Google glasses like to meetings and things like that. And it was awkward. It was weird. Like, and this is coming from me, the guy with the robot lawnmower, saying it was awkward and weird. Like, we care about these types of cues as human beings. We used to make fun of people all the time for having Bluetooth headsets in their ears. But again, now that it's become socially acceptable. So this will evolve. There's something about your sending a signal of attractiveness and, ability to procreate and so forth to, others who are around you that is very primal to us. And I think fashion and I think things like that are going to matter, which is why I truly do believe like the glasses concept can work. The problem right now is it can't work as a standalone, and it's not even close, because you basically have to have a puck in your pockets that is doing all the central processing, that is doing all the hard work, that is then just wirelessly communicating. That
It's
puck
latency.
for most people today is your smartphone.
Yeah, I remember seeing a presentation from Facebook where they said the big issue was the latency.
That's
because
right.
what you're looking to do is transmit large quantities of data.
Yeah.
And then basically, and so one of the issues they had was around the number of people in a room. Because what it would do is, if you were in a room with 200 people, it was basically taking, and it just couldn't work out the differences. So yes, it was.
Yeah, I mean, there is, so there's the concept of, like, people have heard of 5G and edge computing and stuff like that, where like you don't necessarily have to do this on servers, so it doesn't have to go all the way back to Menlo Park.
Yeah.
Even though it's traveling at the speed of light, that's going to take milliseconds, and milliseconds are precious when you want an answer to this. You might be able to do that in a room, off a cell tower, off of some other type of technology. There are ways to do that edge computing potentially. They'll work to get that down. But right now, like to me, it's just the processing power. It's the processing power and it's the battery. If you wanted, so my Facebook glasses, if I'm doing nothing, I think last like 6 hours or something like that today. Seems about that long. If it was like constantly running video, like scanning my environments, it's probably going to last like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work. So, okay, you need it to work maybe at least 6 hours. So battery technology has to be like 12x what it is today to be able to sit in that same form factor. Like, the math doesn't quite work with where we're at today with the tech, but that's why I say like 25 years time, like anything is possible. But I think that is something that is at least convenient, something that we can all be comfortable with, is to like having.
Well, I mean, in the week that Facebook basically launched the fact that they're going to have a data center, which is going to be the size of Manhattan and is going to be powered by a nuclear power station. Just to date this podcast. It gives you some idea of the, if we're going to have something in a pair of glasses, because it's there's one thing about using your ring to collect data. The other is what are we going to do with the data, and what is AI going to do with the data? Are we going to constantly getting, you need to be, I'm trying to think what intelligent thing it could say, because already if you've got a Fitbit buzz and tell you to stand up and walk around, that won't it?
Yeah. Look, I mean, if we had an always on digital assistant, there's a lot of value it could add. It could, it could be reminding me, if you've ever been on a TV show or a program, you have a producer in your ear that's giving you feedback, maybe the next question to ask, a follow-up saying, hey, you actually stated that wrong. You might want to like change that because that was erroneous or whatever it might be. Like, just in this conversation that we're having right now, or in any day-to-day conversation, I mean, I think for most people, the holy grail of this is that it's going to be able to do facial recognition and just recognize people that you have met before. Like for
Yeah,
most
and I
people,
think
that is like the
language will
holy
be
grail of this.
and I mean, I think language will be the real time
Auto translation.
Yeah, real time translation.
Yeah.
So we can go on holiday and we can order a beer without without knowing how to say dos beer por favor, and something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and we're really close to that right now. I mean, for anybody who has traveled to a foreign country that doesn't speak their native tongue, Google Translate gets you really darn close today. There are some demos that OpenAI, Facebook, and others have done using their voice assistants that can do this, almost real time. It's a little bit janky still, but like to be able to do that, this is Facebook's hope, right? Facebook hopes that every single person they missed out on Android and iOS.
Yep.
And, this was like, in many ways, Mark Zuckerberg for the last 20 years, I feel, has been trying to catch up on that because like the fact that they don't have the operating system has left so much on the table. Now, if they have glasses, that becomes the operating system.
Yep.
The vision that any of these want is that like, okay, we're the de facto standard. You got 8 billion people who are wearing our glasses. I mean, they own like 10% of Luxottica now, the biggest glasses maker in the world. I believe Facebook does. Like, they're definitely, this is a key part of their longer term strategy. And to have that operating system would be huge. And they're going to just say like, okay, now we can all talk to each other. It doesn't matter if you're speaking Polish on one side and you're speaking, Portuguese on the other side. It's just going to be fluid conversations that's bringing us all together. I mean, I'm sure that's literally the pitch that they're saying.
Or any accessibility impact. Not just about language.
Absolutely. I mean, you could have a set of glasses with a screen or something like that. So I could be speaking to somebody and it could be signing in ASL or whatever type of sign language you are familiar with in the screen. So they could be seeing that as it translates that. Like absolutely. Net, like this is really exciting to do that. Like, I mean, I think there are so many positive use cases to come from that. But like there's also a ton of money to be doing this, to make the next form factor. And that's why we're seeing all these chances that these companies are taking.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on and talking about AI wearables. Fascinating discussion. I'll remember I put something in my calendar to rewatch this in 5 years' time and see how right we were.
If any of this is right.
A walk down memory lane, yes.
Yeah, 25 years from now, watch it again as well.
It'll be one of those things where they go, have you seen this video? Mike, where can people find you?
LinkedIn, Tim, is the best place for people. Just Mike Todasco on LinkedIn. Just shoot me a DM or anything like that. I'm always happy to chat about this or anything else with folks.
Okay, Mike, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure, Tim. Thanks.